I'm Ethan. I am 16 years old. I was pretty much raised entirely in Edmonton. I like to play games, watch movies, and I've been going to Central all my life. So I've been struggling with an addictive personality pretty much all my life. Something that's very fun or something I really like takes over and consumes me to the point that that's the only thing I can think about, that's the only thing that I would like to do, and it pretty much just destroys everything else that previously had in my life. So in grade 7, I started doing online school, which was a mostly positive experience. However, one thing that was pretty much a big negative was that I had to be constantly on the internet. I've unfortunately come to learn that the internet is like a very fun and very time-consuming way to spend your time, and when I couldn't be on there anymore, I would just end up hiding from my parents and basically doing whatever I pleased away from their eyes. There was like a completely godless part of my life. I just felt horrible all the time, but I felt like I can't show my parents otherwise. I would just get in more trouble and I'd just be completely lost. It was kind of blown up one day, probably thankfully, that my parents found out of my course marks and were like, hey, what have you been doing all this time? And I just told them, and I felt very horrible, very bad. Over the next few days, I cried out to God because I had no idea what to do. I was completely stuck. I thought that everyone would just be shaming me and slandering me for hiding this big of a mess. But after it came out, I never had a stronger experience with God, and it just felt like He was guiding me. He was more in control over me, and I felt more guided by Him. I've been starting to do a almost daily devotion. I find that even a few quality minutes in the morning with God can help me get through the day, can help strengthen my defenses whenever a temptation or a future sin, whatever, come around. And found that now I'm walking with God way better than I was ever before. And yeah. Baptism is considered one of the first acts a follower should do when they come to faith with God. And I feel that now is the time that I should show the church that, hey, I'm a follower of God. One of the things I like about God is that He is a steadfast, loving Father that will never abandon you, even if you mess up so many times. God's love will always never change, no matter how many times you mess up, no matter how many times you disobeyed His laws, no matter how many times you went against what He commanded you to do. And I find that's a characteristic that I like a lot.